The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Why, good evening, everybody. Thank you for attending. If we haven't met yet, my name is Kevin Ross, and I am the FTC West Super Regional Organizing Committee Chairperson, and that looks so lovely on a business card, I got to admit. So we're pretty excited. We're going to go through some stuff tonight and get you all set up and prepared to come up to Spokane with us and have a great event. We are recording this, so if it turns out that somebody else in your team actually needed to see this, we will be posting that, and I will send out a link to that a little bit later about where you'll be able to find that. All right. Also on the line with me tonight is Susan Martucci. She is our volunteer coordinator and one of our First Washington staff people who has been helping to organize the event. And the other name that you'll probably see floating around is Adrian Rimey. Adrian is currently in Clackamas, Oregon, setting up an FRC event, so she won't be joining us tonight, but those are the three names that you'll probably see floating around most often. So we're going to go relatively quickly because a lot of this you'll be able to download and read. So we are doing a webinar, so at the moment, everybody here, you're all muted because with this many people, it's too hard to unmute. If you do have a question, there's a little raise your hand button there on the webinar controls. You're welcome to use those. There's also a question box. We'd like to type a question into there. If we get a bunch of questions along this, a similar line, we're going to summarize them. So hopefully we can get everybody's questions answered. Okay. Here, just as an overview of what we're going to go over, we have some event-specific information that we'll go over, a walkthrough of the event. We're going to tell you about some volunteer opportunities for your students and for your teammates, and some other various odds and ends. Okay. We are going to the Spokane Convention Center, and there's the address, 334 West Spokane Falls Boulevard. I've given you sort of an overview of the whole area since many of us are flying in. This is like, I think it might be 7 or 8 miles. It's actually really close to the airport. Spokane isn't really a huge city. But I just wanted to set the tone for you that that's about where it is, okay? When you arrive at the airport, we wanted to give you a heads up that public transportation is rather limited. I'm using an Uber or a Lyft, depending on whose price is better when I get there. They also have taxis. If you need to rent vehicles, there are rental cars available for there, and most of the major companies are there. So if you're planning on doing that, I would probably look into that real soon. So those are sort of the main ways in. There are no trains or anything like that to the downtown area. This is a gross overview of what the schedule for our event is. And we're going to go through each one of these in detail, but I wanted to summarize this all on one page for you. Again, you'll be able to download these slides probably later on tonight. Okay. So before you come to the event, there are, I've left off the obvious things like bring your robot and bring your team, but there are a few things that you're definitely going to want to bring with you. One of them is gracious professionalism. Please remember that everybody running this event are volunteers. That includes me. We have we'll have 1 or 2 people who are really just stipended volunteers, Susan and Adrian and those folks. So please bring your gracious professionalism. We really appreciate that. Be sure that you've brought safety glasses. We require safety glasses in the pits. And if you would be so kind as to make sure anybody who's coming with you has brought safety glasses with them. We don't have a lot to hand out. Everybody's going to get a single 120 volt outlet. Please bring, I would definitely bring an extension cord and a power strip with you. Write your name on it. That's really important. And as with all FIRST events, we need you to log into firstinspires.org, go to your dashboard or your main contact, go to the dashboard and print out your TIMS roster, and also, or your team roster, I'm sorry, and then be sure and bring consent forms for anybody who is not on that. Very, very much appreciate you doing that for us. All right. So a little bit of the logistics around the Spokane Convention Center. This is an aerial view of it. It turns out this is a really big building. This thing called Division Street right here, it is actually also Highway 2 / Highway 395. It's kind of the main thoroughfare through Spokane. And then we're up against a river over here. So anyway, most of our the reason I wanted to show you this big picture was this is really big. On one end is like a huge performing arts center and theater and such, and then a bunch of meeting and convention space. We are actually all the way over here on the right side. So we're going to be in this thing. It's shaped like a boat. So we're actually up in this area, just to give you a sense of where things are. It turns out there are a lot of restaurants, and there's a food co-op over here. There's several hotels. I can't remember exactly which ones are which. The Best Western, if you're staying there, is here. Courtyard is up here. Fairfield Inn is over here. And the Doubletree is actually part of the convention center complex. So anyway, just a quick tour, kind of hopefully help you get your bearings a little bit. When you arrive, there is a parking area. It's actually under the boat. And so this is the main parking area for you, unless you're walking across from a hotel or staying in the hotel. That's where parking is. There is other parking available in other areas, but there are elevators up to to Exhibit Hall A where we're going to be. So this is where you want to be. I've been told by the venue that it's a $10 parking fee, and I don't think there are in and out privileges. So you might need to plan that accordingly. We have absolutely no control whatsoever over the parking. I apologize. It's just what it is. I know some of you are from urban areas. I'm not. I live in rural King County, so I'm not used to paying for parking. But oh well. If you are bringing a large load, and we define large load like a van, or if you've got a trailer full of stuff, and you need to unload and put stuff on carts, there is a loading dock area. This is hard to get to. So if at all possible, highly recommend using the parking down there to do this. If you do need to do it, you can enter. So this is, you can see it here, this is Highway 2. You can only get at this going in the southerly direction. So you'll have to go up Division Street, find a place to turn around, and come back. You can only take a right in here. There is a concrete median running right up the middle of that road. You'll enter here. It's a fairly large area, but please be respectful of the fact that other people might be trying to use it. If for any reason you're not able to turn in, do not block this street. This is the main thoroughfare through Spokane, and we just can't block this. You'll need to go around and come back in. Hey, did I mention, let me mention again, a great place to unload is actually under the building. If you can get away with that, you're going to be in way better shape. Okay, enough said. If you're coming by bus, bus wrangling is done by entering over here on North Spokane Falls Court. There is they called it a roundabout, and they said that you can drop the students off here and drive out. This is not bus parking. There is no on-site bus parking. Just let your driver know that. Bus drivers do their whatever magic it is they do to make bus parking happen. There is nowhere on the grounds to park a bus. Okay. So that is where they suggested you unload. There is, if you needed to, let me back up a couple. If that appears to be full, there, if you go all the way down here in front of the Performing Arts Center, there actually is a curbside lane that is out of traffic, and I believe that is also a bus unload area. It just happens to be on the farthest possible point from where you're going. You're actually intending to end up in the upper right-hand corner of the building. But if needed, and if this is all jammed up, you can head down there. Okay. So far, so good. About food and water. So this is a commercial venue, just like any other convention center, they don't allow outside food and drink into the building. So heads up on that. They will be having box lunches. I'll talk about that in the next slide. And there are several other food options. There will be a concession stand open for us. And there are other options within walking distance. Highly recommend bringing a water bottle for every student if you can, and just use the drinking fountains for water. I don't know how much the water costs, and this is Spokane, so things tend to cost a little bit less than other places, but it can still get spendy for you. Water bottles are probably like $3. So definitely reuse. And just a word to the wise, if you've never been to one of these 3 or 4 day events, the single most common issue that we have with students in a 3 day event is they have not drinking enough water. I guarantee you one person is going to faint. It happens every year. So keep that in mind. All right? And again, we apologize. We have absolutely no control over the food and water rules. That is the venue, not us. Box lunches are going to be available. And they'll be $12.50 each. There will be a person from the caterer available each morning to place an order. The fine details of that we don't know, but we do know that they're going to be there, and we will make it obvious where they are. And if you can't find them, check with pit admin, and we'll make sure that pit admin knows where they're going to be. Options and
Can I just add a comment to that? They are going to be taking the orders only between 8:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. So we're going to have a 2-hour window to place your order for that day's lunch.
Thank you for that, Susan. I did not put that on the slide. That was between 8:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. and I will edit the slides before I post them. Okay.
Great. We just got that information. Sorry.
Oh, okay, cool. Nagesh is asking a question. Hey, Nagesh, I'm going to unmute you and let's see what happens. He's asking about lunch for volunteers. Susan is going to send an email to all of the volunteers outlining what we're going to do there. And so if you're volunteering with us for the full day, lunch for the volunteers is handled slightly differently, okay? We do know that the vegetarian options with the box lunches are, well, Susan, is limited the right word or non-existent?
Limited is the right word, as the vegetarian option is a sandwich, and if you order it 3 days in a row, it will be the same sandwich each day for vegetarians. Okay. And that's just what they have. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Again, it's not something that we control. We apologize for that. Gluten-free does not appear to be an option at the moment. Any updates on that, Susan?
No, the concessions will have some salad options. So I don't believe they're going to be in the boxed lunch version. That's going to be limited to their sandwich options that the chef can get out rapidly, because we are expecting actually hundreds of boxed lunches to be ordered. But the concessions have a salad option, which I believe you can add protein to as well. Okay.
Cool. Doug has asked the obvious question, will teams be allowed to eat in the parking area? Yes. There are some nice outdoorsy areas around the building. We hate to plan on that because you never quite, this is the Northwest, you never know what the weather's going to do. But yeah, you are allowed to eat in the parking lot, and yeah. So, that's my best answer on that one. Okay. I know that this is always one of the trickier points of doing this. If you're staying in the DoubleTree is connected. We'll show you how close it is. So if you're staying in the DoubleTree, you could probably go hit your room or go hit their lobby or something. So how do you pay? How do we have to pay for the box lunches? You will be paying the concessionaires directly. Susan, do you, these are all good questions, so I'm reiterating these for everybody. Susan, do we know if they're going to accept credit cards?
We believe they are going to accept credit cards, but I will need to get confirmation on that tomorrow. She actually didn't say. I was not expecting to have to pay checks or cash. I'm actually expecting it to be a credit card option.
Got it. Okay. Cool. Let us proceed. So again, you are required to have safety glasses. We're not really equipped to hand out too many pairs of those, so please bring your own. You do need them when you load in because there's stuff being carried around, and that's actually a prime time to get poked in the eye with somebody else's pit display. So we do actually insist that you wear them as you come into the pits. So keep that in mind. So you should keep your safety glasses with you, not stored at the bottom of a box that you're going to need to unload, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. And if somebody on your team or some of your guests end up do collect safety glasses, please return them. We have to pay for those out of our own pocket. So, all right. In general, the schedule overview for the entire event is Thursday. We have a couple of hour window where you can arrive and do early setup. This is completely optional. There are no official things happening on Thursday. And so we realize some of you are coming after school, some of you are flying in. But if you wanted to show up, and we'll go through that schedule a little bit more. Friday is a very busy day. You're going to be doing judging. There'll be robot inspections. We'll have a driver's meeting, and then the qualification matches will start in the afternoon. Saturday is all about qualification matches. Sunday, we will do alliance selections, final rounds, and awards. Let me tell you why we did what we did, just so that everybody is aware of what I was attempting to do. You'll notice that we're trying to get everybody done and out by 1:30 on Sunday. Spokane does not have an overly large airport. We were trying to make sure that everybody could get a flight out on Sunday afternoon. So that is why we're trying to, we're pushing really hard to get done at 1:30. If we finish at 1:30, that means that the teams who are driving can get home at a reasonable hour on Sunday, so they don't have to miss another day of school on Saturday. So that is the reason that we're that the schedule sort of looks like it does. Okay. Going back, sorry about all the scrolling. Yes. So this is an internal diagram of the convention center. It's really big, and you get to ignore at least half of it. In fact, everything left of the DoubleTree you can ignore for now. We are going to be in Exhibit Hall A. There's this boat shape with we'll call it an outrigger over here. So Exhibit Hall A is our hall. There will be nothing in B1, B2, or C. We're not allowed to go in there. The Riverside Lobby, which is Hall D, we can use that. The concession stands are in the red here, as are the restrooms. And then the team lounge, room 401 down here, is a place that you guys can take your food and go eat, the food that you buy internally or accidentally sneak in. I didn't say that, but I shouldn't have said that. Erase that. But this will be set up as a place for teams to go sit and eat if they want to. Okay. Cool. And this is also where the Nerf wars are going to happen. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So we're going to spend almost all of our time in Exhibit Hall A. Okay. This is what the pit layout looks like. We are just got the last few teams registered, and so we have not fully filled out the pit map yet. We will have a pit map for you when you arrive. There are going to be, if you draw a line right up the center here, the Cascade division will be on the left. The Olympic division will be on the right. There will be 72 teams at this event, 36 in each division. There will be practice fields set up on the outskirts for both divisions. We'll have plenty of practice fields for you. and everybody should get power. These are all 10-foot by 10-foot pit spaces with power running up the middle, so it should be good. The fields will be down here, and we have bleacher seating for about 1,200 people. Awesome. Okay, so now I'd like to I'm going to walk through each day a little bit about the schedule and sort of give you a little bit of a flavor for what's going to happen. Again, Thursday, completely optional from 5 to 7:30. I know somebody mentioned that 4 o'clock had been sent out in an email, but we actually intend to be 5 to 7:30. The volunteers, we don't want to go too much later than 7:30 because the volunteers have to be back early in the morning. So that is, this is the end of our internal setup, and so we're just making this available for teams who would like to show up. Again, completely optional. There's nothing official happens here other than you're bringing your stuff in, setting up, and kind of leaving. I don't intend to have like the practice fields or anything like that open. There'll be no inspections, nothing going on, okay? There will be tables provided in each one of the pits. Yeah, I don't think that we're going to provide chairs. In fact, actually, I can tell you that we're not providing chairs. Most teams end up not using the chairs. The tables are, I think they're actually 8-foot tables. They may be 6-foot tables, but they may be 8-foot tables, and we're not 100% sure. Okay. Now, the 9th, that is the, somebody's asking, are things secure overnight? Yes, things are secure overnight. They have, I'm pretty sure they have security in the building all night long. So, okay. Pits open at 8 a.m. and they are going to close at 6:30 p.m. on Friday. So you can come in. Practice fields and inspections will be available, and your official team check-in. Susan, we're going to let the teams know what their judging schedule is in advance. I'd say that as a well-formed rhetorical question.
A well-formed, if we can, yes, we will have some of that information Thursday night.
Yeah. So, but be prepared to be prepared to have a judging round at 9 a.m. And the judging may actually run a little bit longer than this. It just depends on how many judges we have in position and get to go. So we're still working on that. So, but you will have a scheduled judge interview. We are going to schedule you an inspection appointment, and we're going to also schedule an opportunity to get a team picture taken. So ought to be pretty cool. Judging sessions for the teams usually last. The teams will be probably in the judging room for about 15 minutes. The sessions themselves will be at the top and the bottom of the hour, so they'll be on a half-hour schedule. So that is the current plan. We will actually come find you in the pits. We will have queuers that will come find the teams in the pits and take you to your judge session. So if you're, don't worry about trying to figure out where to go. We will come get you. So we do want you to be in your pit at least about, you definitely need to be there 10 minutes before your scheduled inspection time so we can take you up. So even though you may have like a 10 a.m. Appointment, we're going to actually come get you probably around between 9:50 and 9:55. Okay, cool. Somebody has asked, can we use pop-ups in the pits? Yes, as long as you don't exceed 10 foot by 10 foot. We're okay with you using pop-ups. There will be the one table there. If you don't want the table, which is sometimes happens, please let pit admin know. I'll be honest with you, I did not talk to the house about this, whether we're allowed to move tables or whether we need to have them come and move them. So I'm now writing myself a note to find out about that. But generally, if you don't think you're going to use the table, let us know and we'll take the table away. Hang on one second, I'm writing myself a note. Okay. At 1:45 to 2:30, we are going to have a drivers meeting. That drivers meeting is intended to be with the referees. Now, all of you have done these events already this year, so we're hoping that you can keep the questions relevant. We don't want to end up with a drivers meeting that lasts an hour and a half because we really do need to start the game at 3 p.m. and we need a little bit of setup time for that. So please, and so the drivers meeting is intended for students and students only to be asking questions. We don't really want questions from mentors. And listen carefully because a lot of times we hear the same questions come up multiple times. So appreciate that. All right, we're going to run the qualification rounds. You're going to play 9 qualification rounds, and so the first three rounds will be on Friday in the afternoon from 3 to 6. And also during that time, remember that the judges are wandering around the pits, so you'll want to make sure that you have somebody in your pit while the judges are walking around. That'll be actually true on Friday and Saturday. It really helps. Now, I realize some of the teams are very small, and if you have to go to the field, you have to go to the field. That's awesome. But at some point, you need to make yourself available for the judges so that they can talk to you. We're going to close the pits at 6:30. Now, I should have put an asterisk on this whole thing. If we mess up and take too long, 6:30 might turn into 7. So be a little bit flexible on the pit closing and also at the end of the qualification matches. We have wonderful volunteers coming from all across the Western United States to help out, which means that many of these people haven't really worked together before. But we anticipate this actually running pretty smoothly. We have really great volunteers. You're going to really like who we've got. Our head referees are Mark Edelman and Rich Gomez, and they're epic. They will get us through this, no sweat. Okay. And Heidi has asked how many matches are we running? It's going to be 9. Okay. Now, the one thing I will point out about Friday is we do need you to come register at pit admin, or I'm sorry, at the registration desk, and it'll be obvious where that is. Your lead mentor must visit that pit admin desk / registration area, and you have to check in with us. If you don't check in with us, we're going to assume you're not there, and we're not going to put you in the competition schedule, which would be a real bummer. If we print the schedule, it's a real pain in the butt for us. So please make sure that you register as soon as you get there. You remember you need to bring that team roster and consent forms. Those are required by first. Okay. Team registration will not be available on Thursday night during setup. When you come in, if you come in on Thursday night, you're going to find an extraordinarily minimal crew. We're going to have some people point you where your pit is, but most of the volunteers aren't there until Friday. Okay. Engineering notebooks should be taken with you to your judge interview. Take them with you to your judging session. They will end up keeping your engineering notebook, and we will get those back to you on Sunday. Okay. Spectators do not need to be on the registration roster. That's a great question, John. Thank you for that. So really, we're just looking for anybody who's considered a participant on your team, so any of the students and anybody who you would consider a mentor. Moms and dads and those folks do not need. Okay. On Saturday is going to be fun, and it's going to be just a long day of qualification matches. We're going to have our opening ceremony starting at 8:30, and then our qualification rounds will run from 9 to 12. We're going to take an hour lunch, and then we're going to run from 1 to 6, which is so. And we're likely to try and have a slightly unscheduled break in the middle of the afternoon. We don't know. Most of that will depend on how efficient the teams are being and how efficient people are being, whether we can do that. Okay. Oh, somebody pointed out that there's no scheduled lunch on Friday. Let me look at that. Yes, Friday. Yes, Friday. Friday we have no scheduled lunch. Concessions will be open. You will have to figure out your own lunch schedule. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. We're not breaking everybody for lunch. It will turn out that like at certain points that like the field crew somewhere around noon is going to disappear. They're going to go have lunch, right? And the judges were going to sneak a lunch in for the volunteers. But the volunteer schedule is different. So Susan will take care of that if you're volunteering. Okay. So no scheduled lunch on Friday. Eat at your own pace. Okay, but on Saturday we will have a 1 hour lunch starting at noon, and then we intend to be done, and the pits will close right after the end of qualification rounds, and then you're free for the night. Now we do have, by popular demand, we had a great time with this last year. We have what we call game night, and it is from 6 to 9. It'll be in a combination of that big lobby out in the Riverside Riverside Hall and in room 401. And there's no cost to come hang out. It's completely a social event for, you are 100% welcome to come hang out with the other teams. We'll have a Nerf gun set up, so that's always fun to get the kids to run around and do that sort of stuff. I've been asked by Lori Hiddle. I didn't see if Lori doesn't look like she made it on the call tonight, but there was a request if you would like, bring a board game that's appropriate for like many people. Age appropriate is appreciated. Cards Against Humanity, hardcore racist edition, probably not the right thing for this, right? So let's go with PG on this one. So appreciate that. We won't be doing a dance this year. We couldn't pull something like that off. Thanks for asking about that. Now, Sunday is interesting. Sunday, we're going to start a little bit earlier. We're going to start at 7:30, and we're going to run till 1:30. And as you recall from my earlier thing, we kind of want to get you out of the building by about 1:30 on Sunday. That will allow us to get as many people as we can through the airport and going home in the afternoon. Okay, so that is our intent. We might run a little long, so we never know. But actually, we've allocated plenty of time for getting this done. So that alliance selection in the morning. About a half hour later, we're going to start the division elimination round. So we have 2 divisions, Cascade and Olympic. They will play down to a winner, and then we will play. We will take the winners of the 2 divisions and have our final rounds for about an hour. We're going to have a little break, 12:30 to 1, from 12 to 12:30. But we will start the award ceremony at 12:30, and we should be out of there by 1:15. That's our plan. If you are leaving early, and I see that several people have asked this, if you end up leaving early, we may need to check with the judge advisors to get your engineering notebook back. Talk to us if you know that you have to leave early on Sunday. Please let us know, and we will see what we can do about getting those back to you. All right. We would hopefully everybody will stay for the award ceremony. Realize that a lot of you are going to find out that you're going to Houston from this event, and so I hope that you'll take the opportunity to do that. I know that some of you did need to leave earlier because of flights. Okay. All righty then. So about load out. Oh, let me go back to that schedule one more time. I'd like to point out that we did not schedule an official lunch on Sunday. We thought about it and we realized, well, crap, there's no real good place to put it. and you, if we scheduled lunch, you'd be coming back for the award ceremony. We thought, well, let's. We're really down to a few teams playing at some point in here, so sort of eat at your own leisure, and we'll get you out of there rather than delaying everybody for an hour. So that was the plan.
And Kevin, just a reminder that they will be offering boxed lunches on Sunday, so you may order them for your team and pick them up and eat them in you.
Yes. So thank you for that, Susan. That's a good point. They perfect. So the food is available. We just don't have a time slot for it. Okay. Cool. I want. Well, you think I would know the exact number of teams that are going on to Worlds from this? I am almost certain it's 32. It might be 34. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact answer to that, Mike. I probably should know that, but it's among the details. That is actually something I don't know, the exact number. So I'm not going to quote a number to you. It's a lot, between 32 and 34. Okay. Suzanne has asked if they need to bring Nerf guns, or are they provided? I believe that Lori is providing all of the Nerf guns, so they seem to have a big pile of those. Heidi's on the line. Heidi, I'm going to unmute Heidi. Heidi Lovett is one of our longtime FTC folks, and she's actually. So Heidi, I unmuted you. We brought the Nerf guns came from Lori last time. Is that right?
No, they're mine. I brought them, and I will be bringing them again.
Ah, okay, cool. Well, thank you for doing that. We very much appreciate it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
So there will. The idea is that teams will have the same Nerf guns, so there's no clear advantages. That said, if somebody feels they have to bring their own Nerf gun, we're not going to stop them. But we have like 30 Nerf guns, so there will be 30 people in the room at any given time. And we'll have set times, so you have to sign up ahead of time.
Awesome. And I believe that we're bringing tents again this time as obstacles?
Yes, so just be aware that they do sometimes, the poles that hold them up also tend to be a tripping hazard, so be careful.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Well, thank you, Heidi. You go ahead and mute yourself.
Pleasure.
That way, if you need to chime in again.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. All right. Several people have pointed out that Sunday, March 11th at 2 a.m. is daylight savings time, and so it is spring ahead, which means that you're going to be getting up a little bit earlier. So we will all be a little bit sleepy, is my guess, on Sunday morning. It'll all be good. There will be an espresso stand, by the way, for those of you who are coffee hounds. There will be an espresso stand from the concession people. Will have an espresso stand in the Riverside lobby. So, okay. About load out. So. We know there will be about a 30-minute delay between the end of finals and award ceremony. Perfect time for you to go clear out your pit. If you are done for the day, and you're not playing anymore, you can clear your pit anytime on Sunday morning. You'll end up taking it out and going down the elevator, going out the pit doors. Please stay for awards. It's no fun for teams to miss the fact that they were nominated for award and then, and not be there to receive the accolades. So, love to have you stay. I think it's an important part of things. I will tell you one thing though, is that if you are going to use that big loading dock area, we will not be opening that until after award ceremony. And if it's super windy, we may not be able to open it until we get the pipe and drape setup taken down. So a little fair warning on that. You'll be able to go out the man door that's over there, but we may not be able to open the big garage door. But anyway, we don't want you when you look at the pit map, you realize that the loading dock dumps right into the fields. So we're not going to be opening that or letting people use that loading dock till after award ceremony. Hope that made sense. Okay. Are teams allowed to scout the pits and on the main floor? Yeah, absolutely. Teams are always allowed to scout. Absolutely. You'll need to stay out of the playfield area, out of the playing arena. But yeah, we'll be good. All right. We're kind of down to some odds and ends, so I promise we're going to be done here pretty soon. We do have some on-site volunteer opportunities. Specifically, one of the big ones is helping with the safety glass cable. Basically making sure that people who are coming into the pits have safety glasses on, and if they don't, providing them with some clean safety glasses. So we'll have a table set up and a couple of bins of safety glasses, some spray bottles. If you've got some students who are who have idle hand syndrome like I do, it's a great place to stow for a couple hours. So, and it's an important thing for us to do. It's awesome. We do occasionally need students to help on a short shift for a field reset, and so that'll get them out on the field. It's not really a full-time volunteer gig at this event. So we'll give them credentials to get on the field, but they'll only be out there for a few hours, and then we'll probably bring it back in. We always need cuers. If you've got some students, some hanger-on students or some brothers or sisters who are like of high school sort of age that would like something to do during the day, let us know. We always need help with cuers. And we're going to need to grab a couple of people to help us with our video cameras to give our folks a break. So the best way to do that is to check in. There's a place called the info desk. You'll be able to find it. Check in at 9 a.m. and at 1 p.m. and see if there's anything available. Love to do that. Okay. Cool. So we've got a few other questions coming in and a couple of comments. Somebody's asking if airlines will waive oversized baggage fees. We don't know. I have no control over that. You could probably, Alaska, a lot of the Alaska people, if you're flying on Alaska, they know who First is, and they might, but you'll have to talk to them about it. We are intending, Jeanette, to stream the video live, and we will have the link to that. It'll be, we will have a link for that. We'll send it out to you, okay? Gilton is asking whether we're going to use ftcscores.com. We believe so, but we haven't gotten that fully set up yet. One of our people is looking into it, and so yeah. When will we see the link to pay for this event? Actually, you should have gotten an invoice, depending on when you registered. You should have gotten an invoice from First Washington, and I'm writing myself a note. I will check with our bookkeeping staff to find out if they've sent all those out yet. Okay. All right. Cool. Veteran teams. You know who you are. We bring some spare parts with you, will you? And especially if you have a spare Rev Robotics module. Inevitably, somebody's going to get zapped. By the way, we do know about the static problems. We have 4 bottles of Staticide, and we will be spraying the field with an antistatic solution that First recommended. But there will be teams who show up and something has gone wrong with components. And so if you've got a few things that you can throw in a box, really appreciate it. For God's sakes, write your team number on it so that you can get it back and always keep track of who borrowed it. Appreciate that. Oh, by the way, it turns out both Andy Mark and Rev Robotics will be on site. Mark Stoltz from Andy Mark, and I think it's actually Greg Needles from Rev Robotics will be on site. So cool. All right. Earl is asking, yes, we do have first aid. We have first aid kits on site, and the fire department is next door. So we won't have an EMT in the building, but they are 1 block away, or they're right next door. And so that is, that's what we've got planned EMT wise, okay? But we do have first aid on site. All right, cool. The Promote and Compass Awards, we've extended the due date on these. This is maybe slightly different than, this might be slightly different than what you've heard. We extended it to Wednesday at 5 p.m. And so if you would like to do that, there are the submission details, this link right here. Whoop, back up. So I highly recommend that, that you do that. So it's ftcwest.org. That is our website. And in fact, here, let's just bring it up to make sure that I'm telling you the right thing. ftcwest.org. And if you look under Compete, right here, Compass Promote Award, this is where you submit your awards. You have until Wednesday the 8th at 5 p.m. Okay? Sound good? If you haven't made your travel arrangements yet and are trying to figure that out, go to ftcwest.org, look under Compete, Travel and Hotel. We've got a great company called Get Sports that we've been using, and they've got some deals set up, or you're welcome to book your own hotel rooms. It's completely up to you. But this is where you can find that sort of information. If you haven't registered, let's see, registration stuff. I apologize. This you should have gotten the invite email. Actually, we're down to 1 team. All of you have gotten the invite email. We do know that we have 1 team who hasn't filled in our registration form yet. All of you are registered except for the 1 team, but we know them. So that's good. And you should be getting an invoice from First Washington. Okay. All right. And there's other stuff up here. Now, the next thing on my slides, and I will bring this page back up, is this is really cool. We have an online program book, and everybody can submit one of these. It's the details are up here. They were up there on well, here, I'll just click on this. You can submit one of these team ads, we're calling them, and you know, there's an example up here. It says 4 1/4 high by 3 1/4 wide. I don't exactly know how to measure that. My guess is it's somewhere around, it's probably somewhere around 600 by something. One of your students will figure it out. But you can submit right here. There's a little link right there. And if you click on that, you can upload that little picture, and that'll become part of our online program book. Okay.
Do we have a deadline on that program book? We've had a couple of questions about submitting that. I know finalizing something now, so ASAP.
Yeah. I think the original idea was we were going to have a deadline of Monday on that, but if you uploaded it on Tuesday, I'm sure it would be fine. So we are actually. I'm going to go to Pamela is online. Pamela, I'm about to unmute you, and maybe you know more about it than I do because I'm sure you do. Hi, Pamela, are you there? I hear you. You there? I don't hear you. Okay, I'll mute her back again. Okay, so I don't know when the exact deadline for that is. I apologize about that. I know that we moved it by a couple of days, but yeah. Sometime early next week is probably good. It's probably not as critical. Okay. So that's where you upload that. Can we bring additional tables for the pit displays, maybe just some smaller ones? Earl, you're welcome to do whatever you want in your 10 by 10 foot space. You just can't extend outside of that. So if you want to bring extra tables, that's fine. Sean has asked.
I don't know that we're going to have that quick enough.
Yep.
The pit numbers with the divisions with the layout. I'm not sure we're going to be ready to publish that soon enough.
Yeah, we so we had, as you know, there's a very short turnaround time for some of you. Some of you just registered like 2 days ago, right? And so it takes us a little while to actually put the pit map together. We apologize about that. We're hoping that Willie will be able to get to it, but it's going to be tight for us to get that out early. We apologize about that. When you show up, you will have a 10 by 10 pit space just like everybody else. So, okay. Are there any restrictions on materials used in the pit space? Yeah, you know, use good judgment. We don't. If you're going to put up a structure, we want it to be sturdy enough that it isn't going to fall apart, right? Don't do something iffy. We will call if we see something that's iffy or a potential hazard. We'll probably ask you to take it down. Try not to exceed 10 feet in height. This is actually in the rules, by the way, for FTC. Is you're not supposed to go over 10 feet. So we appreciate that. But you know, people have used everything from PVC pipe to these pop-up tents to other things. So just as long as it's safe, we're good. All right. Any restrictions? Published divisions. I'm hoping Pam. I'm going to see if Pam is back. Pamela, I'm calling on you again. I'm going to unmute you. Are you there?
No, because I hung up because my work is on.
Oh, okay. She's doing a different conversation, I think. Okay, no worries. Robert, I will see if we can get that submission page updated with a pixel size instead of inches, because inches is for print and we're not printing. So let me see what I can do about that. Okay. Avacom has asked, can you have a canopy with covering? So I assume a top on it. Yeah, that's fine, but you're going to be up to you to provide your own light. And you do. Yeah. By the way, you don't have an infinite amount of power. You get quite a bit, right? But we've seen some people show up with way too many lights. Okay. All right. Pressing on one more thing. So this is actually our last slide, and we'll stay and take questions. If you are in need of specific help, these are some email addresses. This is me, Kevin Ross, the committee chair, and you can contact Adrian. You're not going to get a reply from Adrian until probably Monday, and actually starting tomorrow, my ability to answer emails will get spotty. We're running another event this weekend, but we will do our best to reply to you as timely as possible. So we appreciate your patience on that. And I hope that we covered enough that you feel like at least you know where you're going, what's going to happen during the day, and how to land safely. Okay. With that, I'm accepting any other questions that want to come up. John has raised his hand. John, I'm going to unmute you. Let's try this. Here it comes. Hi, John. Rohrback. Rohrbaugh? Is that what it is?
Rohrbaugh.
Ah, very good.
Can you hear me, Kevin?
I can hear you. What can I do for you?
So I'd asked, when are you going to publish the divisions, and how are you going to determine them? Ah, okay. Susan is the one that's actually going to do that job, so I'm going to defer that question to her.
Okay, so teams are somewhat randomized and divided into the two divisions. Once we have all of those teams and team numbers, I'll be working on that this weekend. However, I will also be running another event. So there won't be anything available to be published before Monday or Tuesday of next week.
Okay, one comment. Last year, the divisions were determined by taking the numerical order of team numbers and going every other one, and that led to some imbalance. If you could use something like OPR from FTC Stats, that could make a more even distribution.
Thank you for that, John. Actually, we are not going to actually use we're not going to use performance for that for a number of reasons, and the biggest one is we need to just have a simple way that doesn't take people's robot performance or allows us to make decisions about which team goes in which place. So we need a very simple and repeatable method and an explainable method. And OPR is not actually an official number for anybody having to do with FIRST. So I appreciate your comment on that, but it will more than likely be every other team. I hope that makes sense to you.
Okay, that's no problem.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for your question. All right, I'm going to go to Tanya. Hi, Tanya. Here, I'm going to unmute you. Hi there.
Hi, Kevin, and I apologize if I totally spaced out if you say this. To submit our quarter page, is there a deadline?
Yeah, let's go with Monday. I believe the one that went around said Monday. So if you could get it by Monday, that'd be awesome. If it showed up on Tuesday, my guess is that we would still accept it. Okay. Make sense?
Okay, thank you.
I know that's a squishy answer, but if I told you a hard deadline on Monday and you didn't make it, I still want you to submit it anyway.
Yeah, my kids are working on it, but they're a little slow.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right, we have another question from Mike Ellis. Mike, how are you? Do you have a microphone? I see a question from Mike, but I can't hear Mike. One more sec here.
For a confirmation on 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock on Thursday.
5 o'clock. The pit's open at 5. We won't be ready for you at 4.
I think that's what he was looking for.
Okay. Okay, everybody. So, any other last one? Let's see. Earl has asked if he can enter from. In fact, it's probably easier for me to just go find that slide. They're staying at the Red Lion, which is actually across the river here. I am pretty sure that the building will be open over here. I say pretty sure because I am going to ask about that. But yes, I believe you can enter from the north. There's a walking trail that goes down along here, and I think you can come in on this level.
But just a reminder, Kevin, they won't be able to get in earlier than pit's opening. I believe the doors will be locked.
Yes.
Until we have our official opening time, which is pit opening time.
Got it. Okay. So I need to ask about north doors or entry. Okay, got it. Cool. I hopefully that answered your question, Earl. Is there a way to edit the information on the FTC West team information page, specifically the team Twitter handle and Facebook link? Hey, Avacom, if you email the change to me, I will do my best to get that. But you should email that to me very, very soon. And please include your team number and the fields that you want me to change. And I'll be happy to do that for you. Okay. And is the anti-static spray being used at all FTC regional events? What brand will be used? We are it is not being used at all regional events. It is only being used in places where we believe that the weather could cause a problem. And I should open this on another place. Oh, sorry, you guys are watching me zing around here. Okay, we are using Staticide is the brand name. I'm sorry, I don't have the. Oh, well, the brand name is called Staticide, and it's the brand that first recommended. It's actually in their static control document. If it matters to you, that's what we're going to use. John, actually, no, walkie-talkies are not actually allowed to be used at the event. We don't allow external communication devices, and especially radios, and especially near the field. There's so no, you're not actually able to use them. I know there's a couple of teams who wore them in Arizona, but I don't think they were allowed to be used. So we try and limit the number of radio frequencies bouncing around the room. So. All right. Will there be Wi-Fi access for teams in the pits? Yes. The venue has a free and open Wi-Fi thing. We have no control over it whatsoever. It's just there. And so in theory, you should be able to use it because they are unable to shut it off. I have no knowledge other than that's what they told me, so that your mileage may vary. Okay. And Mike, here we go. Mike Ellis, are you there?
Well, can you hear me now?
Absolutely. How are you, sir?
All right. Hi. So I have a question regarding the first question that you answered about how the teams are kind of selected in each division.
Yeah.
So just a suggestion that maybe you could think about is instead of doing it kind of every other team, so teams can qualify by 2 ways, awards and robot. So maybe having it so that you can control that not all of the award teams go in one division and not all the robot teams on the other.
Okay, yeah. So so what do I do when a team is both a good robot and a good award winner?
Just make sure it's all random, so there's an equal number of each.
Equal number of each. Okay. We'll think about that a little bit. I'll be honest with you. If any time that we end up making a subjective thought about the performance of a team or their ability to do judged awards, we get opened up for questions about why we did it that way. I respect what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying, but I think we're going to go with a much more mechanical process so that it removes any doubt of why this division has this specific set of teams in it. Anytime we try and shape which teams go into which division, we open ourselves up into a whole list of nepotism issues and playing favorites. And because it just is it's problematic for us to pick and choose teams other than a mechanical or an algorithmic method. So I do understand that what you're saying. My guess is that you'll find that it should actually balance out pretty closely already. We'll see. But thank you for the comment, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Pam, your hand went back up again. Is that? I'm going to unmute you one more time. Hi, Pam. Pamela? Are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
I am. How are you?
I've been on the call. Thanks, Kevin. Hey, I'm updating the website right now, but you still didn't see the ad.
Oh, so I can barely hear you, but I think you just said that you may have just updated the website with the size of the ad. Okay. I think I heard. I can barely hear you. I mean, it's like really remotely hear you. Can you get really close to your mic or closer?
No, Pam, get closer to your computer.
Are you there?
She's coming.
Oh, awesome.
Kevin, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm updating the website. The pixel dimension is 1275 by 975. It'll be updated shortly.
Thank you so much for that, Pamela. So, and thank you for all of the work that you've done. Pamela, by the way, is a graphic designer who's been doing really awesome stuff, getting our program book all put together. And she also is bringing, her team qualified to come as well. So she's got a dual role. So pretty excited about that. We'll see you next week. Thanks for updating us with that. Hey, is there a deadline for the submissions? Pamela?
Yes. Yes. Friday, on Monday the 5th is the deadline for submission. That's on the website.
Okay. All right. And all right. So Monday it is. Sounds good. Thank you, Pamela. All right. Any other? John has pointed out that if I randomize the team numbers instead of taking them in order, that could be better. Actually, John, it is not a reproducible result. So I appreciate all of the input on this. You're hitting upon a topic that has been wrestled to the ground amongst those of us who organize these events, and having a straightforward, reproducible, explainable thing is how to do that. All right. Oh, yeah, both Johns asked the same question. Yeah, sorry guys, there are two Johns asking similar questions, so we're good. All right. All right. So thank you. I think we may have wound down to the end. If there are no other general questions, I think we'll call this a wrap. Last chance. Okay, well, thank you all, by the way, so much for being participant in FIRST and for attending the event with us. We hope that you have a great time and that the students have a great experience. And we look forward to seeing you in, well, about a week. It'll be a great deal of fun. So with that, good night, everybody.